Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Thank you once again for joining me on this monologue. I have a matter arising. I will be playing a video, and that video has to do with U.S. election. Precisely, I want to play a video that talks about Kamala Harris. I think I have talked about Kamala Harris extensively on my previous shows, and this video is just a kind of a confirmation of all I said about her. And so many people seem not to know who Kamala Harris is. They don't know her record. All they know and see is that she's a woman, and Donald Trump must be defeated. And that is just it. And some of them, so many people know, some people who have so much hatred for Donald Trump, both Americans and non-Americans, that not naturally, they have hatred for a kind of hatred for Donald Trump for personal reasons, selfish reasons. Actually, I consider that selfish reasons because for someone like me, I consider Donald Trump as the best president US ever had. Objectively, I have given reasons why. There are so many, has so many. Forget about his personality. Talk about what he did as the president in 4 years. Nobody, how patriotic he's been, how he fulfilled all the promises he campaigned on, and even went far beyond the promises and did so many other stuff or whatever. I don't want, this is not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is actually to talk about Kamala Harris. But let's play this video, and we'll talk about it as the video goes. Excuse me, I may be interjecting from time to time, depending on the point that comes to my mind to make.
Dear Kamala Harris, let's get one thing crystal clear. The vast majority of American men have no issue with electing a female president. Our issue lies solely with you.
Now, my past monologue, I've talked about this issue of a woman president in the U.S. I asked a question: is U.S. really ripe enough for woman president? And I answered yes. There is nothing wrong in having a woman president, but the question, another question is U.S. ready for a woman president? And the answer is no. And this is the essence of this video today. Yeah, you watch the reason why the U.S. is not ready for a woman president yet, even though it is ripe for a woman president, but not ready it's due for a woman president, but not ready yet. These two words are two different stuff. So I hope you understand that. So let's play on.
You were second in charge of California for 13 years.
As California's Attorney General, Harris promoted enforcement of a law that allowed prosecutors to seek jail time for parents of truant kids.
As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
I thought that was crazy. I was like, how can you lock parents up?
If you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail. Yes, we achieved intended effect.
I opened the door and I see at least 7 or 8 cops that wanted to arrest me. As a matter of fact, they did.
And frankly, you know the prosecutors in my office who volunteered to do this? My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
She had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. That person could be arrested, they could lose time from work, and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community.
I lost my job.
You just heard what Kamala Harris said. You see how power drunk she is. She is an abuser of power. She's that kind of person who derives pleasure in actually abusing her power. She just said she derives pleasure in just using a stroke of her pen to put people in jail, to inflict pain on people. That you can imagine the kind of human being she is, a woman for that matter. She is happy throwing people into jail. She's happy criminalizing people over trivial issues, things that other probably turning a misdemeanor crime to a felony. So that is exactly who this crazy woman is. Let's keep watching.
And couldn't pay rent, and we got evicted.
Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed.
I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
All because of the swipe of my pen.
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom, and I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
You were second in charge of the United States for 4 years.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Inflation is hitting the highest level in 39 years. A record high number of illegal crossings.
Crime's been surging across the nation.
Huge spikes in homicides.
Could we be heading toward World War III?
After 17 years of failed leadership, you are now asking us to trust you as first in charge of our country.
I am concerned and focused on big issues. Elementary and middle school truancy is actually a big issue. If we're trying to save the state money.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding.
I want money.
My message to all Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
As men and protectors of women and children, you are simply a risk we are not willing to take.
You see, yeah, that's my point. You can imagine this woman laughing and pleasuring on inflicting pain on people. Did you hear what she said? Sometimes she brings up these crimes, these charges rather, against people, against her victims, even though she knows as a prosecutor that those charges cannot survive in court. But she said, you heard what she said, that at the end of the day, that person's life, even though the person goes to court, after charging the person and the court dismisses that case, she said, literally said, the person's life will never remain the same again, which is the truth. Sometimes some of these charges get people destroyed. First, for those of you who are not in the US, this information will be a good thing for your ears. That US justice system is not for the poor. It is not for the less privileged. If you are poor in this country, if you don't have what it takes to get a lawyer, honestly, people are being sent to jail because they don't have their cases. They may have good case in their favor, but because they don't have what it takes, actually the money to pay for good lawyers. They have government lawyers, but the truth is, government lawyers, what do? They have their limitations. So if you cannot afford a good lawyer, obviously you end up in jail, even for something that you know you can win, the case you know you are sure of to win. And so that's exactly what Kamala Harris does. She just victimizes the lows, the less privileged in the society, the powerless. She abuses her power. That she's so power drunk that you can imagine what she is. I don't know how. I don't understand why only someone who is so dark in her heart could, and whose conscience is seared, or whose sensitivity is so dark that she can actually come out publicly in the public on a mic, for God's sake, using microphone to announce to the world that she derives pleasure in actually inflicting pain on people by the stroke of the pen. This is a kind of people that the kind of woman that some US citizens want to vote for, are campaigning for as well. And now that brings me back to this issue of woman presidency in the US. Is US ripe or due for a woman presidency? Yes. I don't have any issue with woman presidency. Women can be better than men. I've seen women that does better than men. I've had women who did better than men in my line of business, and even in my employment cycle. I've seen and experienced women who are doing better than men. There's no doubt about that. However, US is not ready yet for a woman. Why did I say so? Because you cannot, if you are ready, as I've said this earlier, that US politics, leadership globally belongs to the men. It's a man's world. Socially, it could be in the West, it could be a woman's world socially. But when it comes to leadership, it is a man's world all over the world. It is, including the US. And if it is a man's world, women folks, you should be up and doing. You should be on top of your game to bring out your best, to be able to be able to outsmart the men, because you are coming into our world. Therefore, be really, really ready. Be prepared to outsmart us. That is the reason why I said US is not, though it is due, but they are not ready for a woman president, because you gave us Hillary Clinton and now you are giving us Kamala Harris. These two women have a lot of baggages of incompetence and corruption and daftness. And that is just the reality. And this is my angle.